Scent Blocker presents Whitetail Frenzy.
If you like action and you like kill shots, this is going to be the show for you.
This isn't your average hunting show, and hunting isn't our full-time occupation. We have families, full-time jobs, and face the same struggles as many of you. Months of scouting and preparation for a single short moment in time. That moment when you can't control your breathing and your heart is pounding out of your chest.
Whitetail Frenzy is brought to you by Scent Blocker, Elite Archery, the world's most shootable bow, Dual Game Calls, get real, get dual, Camex Crossbows, built like no other.
We get a lot of emails about which hunts are our most favorite or our most memorable.
We've had so many successful hunts over the past 5 years here at Whitetail Frenzy that there's no way we could pick our favorite or most memorable hunt. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this episode and make it the most action-packed episode yet. We're going to take our most favorite hunts over the past 2 years. We're going to put them all in this episode. So if you like action and you like kill shots, this is going to be the show for you. Well, this first hunt's one of my favorites for a few reasons. It's in Kentucky, early season. The bucks are still in velvet, and I have patterned a mature deer. The only matured buck I got showing up on my covert camera, so I'm climbing in the stand to hunt this one deer.
Smoked him! Thank you, Jesus.
Well, this hunt means a lot to me. You know, I've killed several deer in my life. I've killed several big deer in my life, but I have never killed a velvet buck. So when I had the opportunity to go to Kentucky, early season, while the bucks are still in velvet, I was super excited.
Oh man, what a deer. What a deer. Look at that. Gosh. I've been watching this buck all summer long. I mean, when I can make trips down, I would come down, put my cameras up, glass the fields from way off, and just try to keep the pressure down and hoping he would stay on a summer pattern when season came in.
This next hunt will always be one of my most memorable hunts because I've killed a ton of big bucks in my life. But this deer is by far the most unique deer that I've ever hunted and the oldest buck that I've ever hunted here in the state of West Virginia.
Yeah, baby. Boom! Last minute. Oh my goodness. We had very little camera light left. Holy cow. Solo film style. Right there, baby. He went down. The deer didn't go 30 yards. We're right to the top of that little point. Went down. Yeah, baby. Another one down right here in West Virginia. Home state. Oh, another exciting hunt here on Whitetail Frenzy. This deer's got all kinds of character. Drop tine right here. Just crazy main beam on this side. You know, they say if a deer gets injured that it can affect the opposite side of its body's antler growth. And what we noticed the other day when we were in here filming, this deer came under me. I was solo filming, didn't get a shot. I noticed his back leg or back hip on the left side was injured, and you can see that it definitely affected the right side of his antler growth. What an awesome hunt. You know, to set your mind on a big mature whitetail regardless of what it scores, and to close the deal with the bow. There's nothing better, except when you do it and it's all on film, especially tonight, solo cam style. What an awesome evening. thank God for another opportunity to get out here. This deer is a beast. I couldn't imagine, gosh, what he would have been like if this side wouldn't have been messed up, if he wouldn't have got injured. But man, maybe the coolest buck that I've ever killed in my life, and probably by far the biggest body deer I've ever killed here in West Virginia. This deer is, I'm gonna get him aged, but he's definitely 6+ years old. This deer's probably been king of the mountain for a while in this area, and met his match tonight.
Whitetail Frenzy is brought to you by Rambo Bikes and X-Stand Tree Stands, Slick Trick Broadheads, the original all-steel broadhead, Slash Arrows with integrated blade technology. Order using promo code Whitetail Frenzy. Custom bow equipment, competition-inspired hunting sights, covert scouting cameras. Size does matter. Custard Stand, the world's finest ready-to-eat hot dog chili. Hatfield McCoy Trails, offering some of the best off-road trail systems on Earth.
Every time I look at the wall and I see this next deer, it just brings back great memories. The deer got its name Lobster because Colton, my son, and I, we were walking through the woods one day. We were scouting, hanging some cameras, and this big buck jumped out of its bed, looked at us, and then took down over the hill. My little boy, he was 6 years old. He turned and looked at me. He said, "Dad, did you see those antlers? It looked like a big lobster claw out on the end."
Oh my goodness, it all come together. He came in once and turned and left, and I don't know where he went. He just left. It was so thick I couldn't see, and then all of a sudden I was texting Kenny. I told him, "Man, I was saying 23 yards, go get a shot." I looked down, there he was. He was right there, baby. That's Lobster. My little boy named that deer Lobster because the big crab claws on him. He said, "Daddy," he said, "that looks like a lobster claw." So I thought, that's a good name for him right there. I'll tell you what, I sat through 3 hours of rain today. Just pouring the rain. And I got soaked, didn't have a rain gear or anything, but I kept telling myself that as soon as the rain quits, these big boys will get on their feet, and that's exactly what happened. Look at those G2s right there. They gotta be 11, 12 inches long.
On this next hunt, I'm headed to Ohio. It's one thing to kill a big buck out of a tree stand. It's one thing to kill one out of a ground blind, but it's another to set up on the ground with a bow and kill a giant.
I cannot believe. Oh, we got a big buck down right there, too, baby. He's down right there. Big buck down right here in Ohio. Oh my God, did I watch the deer forever? Oh my goodness. It is starting off great. This is my third big buck down of the season, third mature buck down. Score-wise, this is definitely the biggest one for sure. And God, I can't get over. This is a 4-year-old, maybe a 5-year-old deer. I'm not sure, but I can't get over the body size, how much bigger the bodies are on these deer here in Ohio compared to back in West Virginia. Gosh, thank you, Lord.
So this next hunt is really a special hunt to me. Like the last one, we're back on the ground during bow season, but this time I have my son with me. He put in a lot of work going in the woods with me, checking trail cameras, putting out feed throughout the summer. And there's an 8-point showing up that he fell in love with. To him, this deer is a giant. We're set up on the ground. He has the Camex crossbow, and I'm set up behind him with the camera.
I think you smoked him. I think you smoked him. Yeah. I think you smoked him. Yeah. Love you, boy. Love you. I think you smoked him. Make sure you got it.
On this next hunt, I really don't have to explain anything of why it's my most favorite deer that I've ever killed. All you got to do is look at the uniqueness of this animal.
Gosh. I just want to thank you all again. This is an amazing place here. It's truly amazing. These animals here, if you've never been to Saskatchewan, it's a truly majestic place. To see what these animals go through day in and day out just to survive, just to make it to a year-old, much less make it to monarch status as this big old boy is. So, I mean, it's truly amazing. I highly recommend anybody that wants to come to Saskatchewan, give Gage a call. I mean, these guys are the real deal. They get it done, and they put you on some fantastic deer. I mean, where in the world are you going to go to get 7-inch bases, maybe bigger? I mean, I can't get my hands around this thing. Character, oh my goodness.
One word describes why this next hunt will always be one of my favorites, and that's accomplished. Because that's how I felt after I harvested this big 5-year-old West Virginia buck. That's accomplished because, you know, I wasn't hunting in one of the 4 bow hunting only counties. West Virginia, we have tons of hunting pressure. I was hunting on a small piece of property, and I was able to put down a big 5-year-old West Virginia whitetail after the West Virginia gun seasons.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. What a huge buck. Oh my God, that thing is a freaking West Virginia giant. Oh my gosh, I got pictures of one big buck in there a while back. I don't know if it's him or not, but just one time, that's it. Or no, twice. One time during the day, one time during night, but that's it all season. And he just showed up out of nowhere. Oh, thank you, God. All I gotta say is, my release was hooked. I was getting ready to smoke that doe, and she looked up. Thank you, Jesus. Because if she wouldn't have looked up when she did, I would have shot and he would have bolted. What a freaking giant. Yeah, baby. Big buck down. West Virginia. Yeah, baby.
Well, this hunt's exciting to me because anytime you're in Canada, you just never know what's going to happen.
That's the doe right there, just went through. Here's the buck. Yeah, they're fighting. Come on.
We finally spot this big boy. He's got a doe pinned up, and there's another buck actually making his way into the woodlot, and when he does, it is chaos.
I got one of them right here. I can shoot one of them. The one broadside. The one broadside. I only see one. I see one right at the woodline. Oh, I see the other one. Okay, hold on. The front one's coming out. Oh, the front one is coming out. He's running.
The doe finally makes a break out of the woodlot, headed to the next woodlot. I know right now it's now or never.
You got the front one? You do? Yes. Got him. I hit him. Watch him. I'm gonna shoot him again if I can. Watch him there. Just pulled it off last minute. I think we've just pulled it off, baby, because there goes the doe and there goes the little buck. I'm pretty sure the big buck that I shot went in that bush right there and laid down. That's why you come to Saskatchewan. Oh, God, Charlie. Oh, Charlie. Oh, Jesus, Charlie horse. All right, well, it's last day. I mean, we were down to the last day, the last evening. It's probably 1 o'clock. We got to fly out in the morning, and we just stood here. He made it happen. He said, okay, keep the faith, keep the faith. And we just kept looking and looking, and finally we spotted this buck going into one of those little draws, like in a small woodlot. And I was like, I think it's a pretty good buck. We kept trying to look, and Stu said, yeah, I think that's a shooter. And we got a little closer, and then also when we got closer, we seen another buck that was bedded down on the other side of the woodlot. Well, it stood up, and then it was chaos. Those two bucks went at it. Dave was like, I could hear them fighting, and we was trying to get down, get closer to get a better shot at it. And you know, once they got done fighting, they came out, and they were standing about 10 yards apart. I kept asking Dave if he's on him. He's like, which one? Which one? I never seen the other buck after they fought. I didn't know he was standing right there also. And then this big boy right here, he stood there and turned up and looked up at us. When I seen the spread on him, I mean, I couldn't pass him up. He was just last day and just had me fired up. So, oh, we got it done, Stu. We got it done. Appreciate it, brother.
Whitetail Frenzy is brought to you by Scott Releases, the #1 name in the release game. Whitetail Trail Mix. Go to whitetailtrailmix.com to find your closest dealer. Lethal Addiction Mineral and Attractant. Warner Law Offices. Call 304-345-6789. Peanut addiction. The addiction is real. Cirrus Wind Indicator. Order at cirrusoutdoors.com using promo code Whitetail Frenzy. Whitetail Frenzy is also brought to you by the following partners.
Just about every single deer we've harvested on Whitetail Frenzy are deer that we were getting pictures of and we were hunting that deer. But one word I could use to describe why I love this next hunt so much is the unexpected. Because when you're hunting, you never truly know what's going to happen. Just because you got cameras out there doesn't mean that big buck that you don't know about can't walk out in front of you at any moment. So I hurry up and kick the camera on, and this deer starts going away from me, and I think that he's just going to keep walking right out of sight. Well, before I got in the blind that morning, I'd put some peanut addiction out behind a log. This deer gets downwind from the peanut addiction about 40-50 yards, and I couldn't believe it. He literally locked him up, he turned around, and he came straight back.
I got my man Perry up here helping me with the recovery. I'm colorblind. He can see the blood a little better than I can, but I'm pretty sure I heard that deer crash about 60, 70 yards down in the hollow. I don't think there's gonna be any issue finding him at all. Dang, look at that. That's what you like to see. Covered in blood. They're sunk in the ground there pretty good too. I'll tell you what, that blew right through his front shoulders. Slash arrows, that Slick Trick broadhead. Got a fixed blade up there, punching that initial hole, followed up by a 2 1/8 inch cut from the inset blades in the slash. And that thing is covered in blood. I mean, that blew blood all the way through it here. I might be able to track this one, Perry. Look at that. Holy cow. Awesome deer. Look at that, Perry. Tell you what, I couldn't be happier. It's my first buck down in 2017. It's a really cool deer. He's got a kicker there. Beautiful deer. I think he's just 3 years old. I mean, he would have been an absolute giant next year, but I never had pictures of this deer. He came in, I hadn't killed a buck all season. I'm hunting here in West Virginia, and just a beautiful whitetail. Man, I couldn't be happier. The shot was perfect. Dead centered his shoulder here. The slash arrow came out right behind the shoulder on the other side, and this deer went about 60 yards and crashed down in this hollow. It's a beautiful deer. Just goes to show you, the trail cameras, they'll show you a lot, but they don't show you everything. I never had a picture of this deer, and it's that time of year the bucks are starting to move, and he showed up, and man, did he show up at the wrong place at the wrong time. For him anyway. Good for us. Another buck down with the Elite bow. I'm super pumped. Good way to head into November.
This next hunt, there are several things that make it memorable and one of my all-time favorites. My first time in British Columbia, my first time off grid, and the chance to feel my lifelong dream of harvesting a giant color-phased black bear.
There he is, Kenny. This is my first color face. Dude, hey, perfect shot. I could tell you don't even know. Man, that's freaking awesome, dude. We just spot and stalked from probably 400 yards on that bear. We were looking for a different bear, and it was right there feeding.
It seems like just yesterday we just started on our journey, and now we've came to the conclusion of our 5th season of Whitetail Frenzy. It's hard to believe, and we've had, as you all have seen, we've had some exciting hunts.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's like it's a dream, you know, a dream that has now become a reality for us. You know, growing up like we did, coming from the southern coalfields of West Virginia, not really having a whole lot to, you know, living the dream. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that would love to be in our seats, and I just want to say that, you know, how blessed that I feel, and I know Kenny feels the same way, just very blessed to have this opportunity.
Yeah, it's really cool to have a show to where we're able to relate to the average everyday hunter, and that's because we are the average everyday hunter. We have jobs and families outside this. You know, our goal is to make this full time, but you know, 5 seasons in, we're still not there yet. But because of you all support, this show continues year after year. You know, our audience is growing, and we're loving the feedback you all give us, because whether it's positive or negative, we utilize that in as we move forward to make these episodes and make this series better so that it's more enjoyable for you all.
Just because it's the end of season 5, you know, and the season is over, so to speak, you know, we're starting for next year. So make sure you go to Facebook, follow us on there every day. I mean, we try to post something as much as we can. You know, we're just like you. We're everyday people. You know, we've got family, we've got jobs. We are going nonstop. But when we get a chance to hit the outdoors, that's what we do.
Yeah, so make sure, give us a like on Facebook, and be ready, because season 6 is going to be even bigger and even better. We'll see you guys next year. As always, thanks for watching. We love you guys.